Hello and welcome back to What Heather Did, and today we're doing some shirt makeovers. So I found this shirt, and you can't tell, but it's actually pinkish. It's not really very white anymore. So I was like, hey, I bet it would look really cute with the flannel. So I actually have two shirts that I'm doing like this, but the other one I forgot to record. So first, I picked off the pocket, which I didn't actually spend most of my time doing this on camera because I just wanted to sit and take the pocket off. I just used the seam ripper to rip the seams off and took off the pocket. Then I cut the shirt, and because I'm working with kind of a small space, I just folded it and cut it using my rotary cutter. Now for the flannel, I actually made sure to line up, because I wanted this to be about the same size shirt. So I lined up how much space and then did this. I didn't lay the flannel out very well, so I did get some seams that were kind of funky, but it's okay. And yes, I am working on top of my washing machine. You know, we do what we gotta do. And you can see here, it's kind of lumpy. I really should have spent more time. Now I'm going to take the sleeve portion and pin it, starting at that top seam. I'm not really pinning, they're clips. Starting at that top seam. Now, just keep in mind if you're doing this, that t-shirt material that knit material is very easy to stretch. And if you do stretch it, it'll start kind of curling. So you want to be careful not to stretch it, and then just try not to overwork it so it doesn't start curling on itself. So I just clipped all along the seam and then went back up to the other side. And went down the other side. I do like these little clips. I got these are the off-brand from, I think, Amazon a couple years ago. And some of them have broken. They're probably not, they're not as high quality, but they work well, and I do like this more than pinning. Maybe it's because I stab myself less. I don't know. And then I just did the same thing on the other side. And make sure when you're doing this that you're pinning or clipping the right sides together so that when you sew it, that'll be inside. Unless you're going for a look where you want the seam to show. That's fine too. And then over to the sewing machine, and you'll notice my seams here, like the bottom of the shirt doesn't quite match up. That's okay. For this shirt, I was using a little bit more of a, overlocking stitch, a little bit more fancy. And it's one that goes back and forth because I don't have a serger. For the second shirt, I went with a simpler zigzag stitch and switched to the walking foot so it fed through a little bit more, or a little bit easier. So, I don't know. I think either one would work. I did like the walking foot a little bit more. It was a little bit easier with my sewing machine. Just can't use this stitch that I'm doing here with the walking foot. As far as I know. I am not an expert at sewing, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to use one that would kind of go backwards. Just being really careful here, and my seam allowance is a little bit big, but I started with it, so I just ended with it. And just making sure everything's laying flat. I don't sew fast. I just like to be careful, and I don't want the t-shirt to curl up on me. I don't want anything to fold underneath, so I go slow, and I take my time. And as I came up on the seam where the two seams meet, that's a lot of material. So I made sure to kind of feed it through from the back as well, and just kind of gave it like a gentle tug to make sure it keeps moving forward and doesn't get stuck. And then I just went all the way down this side and back over the other side. So after I got that done, the front seam matched up nicely, but the back did not. So I took a little piece from the bottom of the front and the back of the shirt to fill in that gap. And I got no footage of my other shirt, but here's what I did. There was a hole in the armpit of this, I think it looks like Mike Wazowski. And I sewed a little black strip in there because I didn't like that green right up against the other green. Like, I like the shirt as a whole. And the front and the back matched up, not the front and the back, the bottom of the front and the back matched up pretty well on this. So I just kind of sewed like a little seam at the bottom to make it actually look flat. And again, everything kind of matched up pretty well, so I didn't have to do much there. And I like the sleeves rolled up. For the Bambi shirt, which again, it looks white, but it's really pinkish. You can see in the front, the seams matched up really well. And it looks so cute. I guess it kind of looks pinkish, but it's like pink. Definitely like it was washed with something red pink. So here's what I did in the back. I just took sections and sewed like a little box in there. So it looks like this at the bottom. And I did have to use part of the front of the shirt as well, so you can see where it would have buttoned together. I just sewed that up. And here are the two shirts. I ran into the door. And despite the look on her face, I did not force her to help me do this. She wanted to, and then she looked like I was torturing her. The shirt is too big for her, but aren't they cute? I'm going to try to save this shirt that belongs to my son. We have had this for a long time. It's a youth large. And, he doesn't actually wear a youth large anymore. This shirt doesn't fit him, but he keeps trying to wear it anyway. We've got a thing going on over here with the collar. I think there was a hole in an armpit. Oh, yep. Hole in the armpit. It's got some things going on. So I want to try to save it because he does clearly, there's something in my way, he loves this shirt. So I have another shirt. Okay, so here's my ironing setup. It is a towel over my stove. And put on I don't have an ironing board. Another shirt. But it's fine. So you're going to take this, and I didn't rub too much until I got it kind of sticking, because I don't want the fabric stretching or anything like that. And the first step to this is going to be just iron this on, following the instructions on the package. But it's for lightweight fabrics, because I don't let it cool before peeling the paper back and on. I'm going to cut out up here. That's just about perfect. I'm going to cut it, and then I'll iron this on, and then cut this out and put it on another shirt. But because this has been worn so thin, and I don't want to like cause this to curl up or anything, and it's going to be ironed on so that it looks nice, so we're going to go with this. Alright. So to iron this on, you're going to follow the instructions on the package. There's a textured side and a smooth side. The smooth side is paper. Don't put that down. You want the textured side on the shirt because you don't want that sticking to your iron. And then I didn't rub the shirt because I didn't want it to stretch. And you just press it until it is adhered. And you have to wait for it to cool before you try to peel it up. Otherwise, it'll just peel back up. So once that is cooled, you can peel the paper backing off. And now the fabric is stabilized and it'll be fine if I cut it. And it is important to peel the paper backing off. Not that I've ever forgotten and then started sewing it on with paper still on there. Don't judge me. So it's fine. And then I'll turn it back inside, whatever. Right side out, inside out. It was already inside out. Now it's right side out. And then I'm just going to cut this out. I cut it out kind of rough, just real quick. And now I can go through or go and actually lay this out. Because I saved the rest of the material for use in other things. And now I can cut this straight. And if you're enjoying this content, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing or sharing my video, all the things just to help me out. And if you're interested in supporting the channel more, I do have links below in the description. Thank you. And now it's time to iron this onto my other shirt, which again is a thrift find. It's just an adult, I think medium or large gray shirt that fits my son. This is a little ironing pad to prevent sticking. I did that because of the design. And you just let it sit and iron that on. Now, because I do want this to be a washable shirt after that's ironed on, you do like a stitch to go over the seams and then it's washable. If you don't stitch it, you don't wash it. I used a green thread, and this is really a pretty basic zigzag stitch that's just going over that seam because it is for my son and I don't think he would want a super decorative stitch. So I went pretty basic and matched the green shirt instead of the gray shirt. And then I of course had to make him try it on. Turn around, model the shirt. Yay! Now, before I go, because I'm not done yet, what am I going to do with the extra fabric? Right? So, I don't know what I'm going to do with the t-shirt yet, but I've got it. It's stored somewhere. With the flannel, I combined it with some denim. So this is an old pair of jeans that I don't think is 100% cotton. And I cut it into 8.5-inch squares. And I went with 8.5-inch squares because that's what I could get out of my shirts. So after those had been cut down, I could get 8.5 inches. And I'm going to cut the shirts. I can get 4 squares out of each shirt. There's still some scraps left. I have like the collars and stuff like that. But I got 4 good squares. Now, this is just one idea of what I can do with my scraps, right? I can make a rag quilt with my scraps, but there's lots of ideas for what you can do with flannel. Reusable wipes, like the reusable paper towel kind of things. Face wipes, like I made a set a couple years ago of like reusable, instead of cotton balls, reusable face wipes. I mean, all sorts of stuff. I would be interested to know what your ideas are. You should leave a comment below. What's your idea for what you can do with flannel? So I put when you're doing your rag quilt, you actually put the wrong sides of the fabric together. I know we never do that before we sew. And just run it through. You're going to do an X across your squares. And some people will put like another layer in between the flannel and the denim, so you have like kind of a thicker quilt. I didn't, because like this is scraps, so I went with it. And you just sew an X along here. And I'm curious what you think I should do with the collars. I do have scraps for other stuff, but what should I do with the collars? I don't have any ideas. So, ideas in the comments. What should I do with the collars? And then, what are some other ideas for reusing flannel? What do you do with flannel? Other than wear it to dress up like Al for, Halloween. Okay. So, we have 4 of these 8x8 panels just from the one shirt, and I still have like the collar and some strips. And I know this one's had to be sewn crooked, and that's where I took the pocket off. But I think this looks super cute. I like this one better, I just think it looks cute. So I think I said 3, but I have 4. I have 4 panels from half a pair of jeans, actually not even half. That's just from one leg, and the leftovers of a shirt. Yay! And that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned to find out what Heather does next time. This never happens, but I actually finished stitching what I wanted to stitch, and I was like, oh, I should check my bobbin. And it's empty, but there was enough thread in there that I finished the stitches and didn't run out of bobbin thread.